Вперед! Русские вперед! Русские вперед!
Is Russia's first event as World Cup host. The spotlight has been switched on.
Hey guys, it's Ellie from Russia. Lately my apartment became super international as I have my friends from different countries who come here to have some tea with me and we make some videos. And today I will have a really special guest on my channel. Подожди, я не договорила. Sorry, my friend is learning to film and to use the camera, I guess. I was saying, today I will have a guest and he is an expat living here in Moscow. And I was an expat myself living in Vietnam where I felt completely different from everyone else. And today my friend Joshua from Nigeria will talk about his experience of living in Russia as an African. Joshua, come here. Everyone already knows who my guest is. It's not a surprise anymore.
Thank you so much for having me.
Joshua, будем говорить на русском или на английском?
Ну, смотри сама, как тебе хочется. Мне и то, и другое.
That is so cool to see a Nigerian speak Russian, you know? I've seen so many comments and different forums where foreigners write that they're so scared to start learning Russian language because the alphabet looks like a secret code, the pronunciation is considered way too difficult. So how long it took you to become this fluent in Russian?
Well, when I came to Russia, we also had the stereotypes that the language was too tough. You can never get to learn it. In fact, my cousin told me that I would never get to learn the language if I didn't have a Russian girlfriend. Yeah, and he got me scared with that. He said, "You can see, it's impossible." All right, so
in order to learn Russian,
you need a girlfriend. You need a girlfriend. You doesn't need a girlfriend.
One French guy told me that I need a French boyfriend in order to learn French.
Right? But those are just stereotypes. Those are just, and you know, I determined to break the stereotypes. I determined to be different. I was determined to learn Russian without any help. Because we were actually in the university, and you know the Ruda University had a sophisticated system of training foreigners, and this has been for ages, and they're successful about it. So I faced my education, and not only that, then when I came, it was possible for me to sing in the university. You know,
in Russian.
Yeah, in Russian.
Wow.
Which was a pretty difficult task.
Wow.
So we had to sing, the very tough texts. You had to cram everything. I remember I got to my singing class someday and my teacher told me, "We're going for a concert tomorrow. And you're going to be singing in Russian." So I couldn't sleep the whole night. On the corridors, I was just, and then we were there. Мужество, терпение, very tough text and, lyrics in Russian.
So you started to learn Russian, and in how much time you started to speak and to sing in Russian?
Yeah, in 3 months, I already could communicate properly with sign languages and a few sentences, хочу, идти, and all of those. It was and in 6 months, I already could sing pretty well in Russian.
Yeah, Russian language has this tough reputation, so many are scared away. But I think that with a regular practice, you can do anything, and even without a Russian girlfriend, right?
Exactly. With regular, the reason why the girlfriend thing has been attached to it is because she speaks to you frequently. It's just about communication. Yeah. It's about practice. Every language is the same. If you hear it every day, just like a little child, it has its mother tongue because it hears the same words over and again.
When and why did you decide to move to Russia?
There was this particular day in the year 2007. I and my family, my father said to us that we needed to visit one of my aunts. And we just drove down, and when we got there, she was very happy to see us. But then she was startled that I was still at home. At that time, the school session was on. And then she asked, "Why are you sitting? What are you doing at home? Are you not supposed to be in school?" And I said, "Well, I just finished a national degree, diploma, national diploma. Right now, we're thinking of getting into another school, another university in Nigeria. And she says, no, 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 you should go to Russia.
Oh.
Just like that. And my parents are like,
Why Russia?
Russia? She says, yes, my children are there.
Oh.
And they're doing well. Two of them just finished as doctors. The last one is
Did you
finish.
want to study in Russia?
I didn't even know Russia. I only knew there was Russia, and that's all. I never found out about it. I never knew anything about it. And my aunt is here saying, yeah, you know, you should really. And my parents are like, well, we were not planning for that. She said, I think it was July. She says, resumption is in 2 months now. Go get your passport and everything, and you're going to Russia.
And you found yourself in
And that's
Russia,
all.
just like that.
I was here.
So you've been living here for more than 10 years, right?
Well, it should be 14 years this year.
14 years. Wow.
In October 21, it's going to be 14 years.
And what do you do now?
Well, now I am a lecturer. I lecture in my university, in the same university where I studied, and in another university at the regions of Moscow.
And how did you find this job as a professor at the university?
Well, I believe I just went through the system, and the system has decided to retain me back into it. Yeah, I was a student here forever, I should say. Yeah, my student days are great. And afterwards, the university feels that I could stay back to pass the same knowledge I have acquired to the coming generation.
You teach at Rudan University,
Yes, I
right?
teach at
So
Rudan University.
you're a professor at one of the top universities of Russia. You must have many Russian colleagues. So could you tell me what's the differences between Africans, I mean Nigerians, and Russians and the work environment?
Oh, okay.
Do you think Russians are hardworking? Are they lazy?
Well, that's a pretty tough question. But then, in any ways, the Russians have a great work culture. This spans through all sectors of work in the Russian Federation, and I must really appreciate it. Everything works. There is a system. Russians don't play with time. 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock. While I was dating my wife, I should say, I had missed my train severally to Ukraine. Oh, because I was 1 minute late. 1 minute. In Africa, you could be 5, 10, 15 minutes late.
I think that Russians are late very often, but trains never.
Trains are
Trains
not
are
late.
always on time.
The buses even don't miss the timings.
Yeah.
Everything works. The power works. Everything works. Sincerely, sometimes the Russians don't see it because they have different expectations. But believe me, the system really works. And this is because some people have put in hard work into it. Some people, especially Russians who are in the engineering sector, in power sector, these guys, I believe they're robots. They do not sleep. It's bam, and everything just keeps going and going. And it's the same thing with the academia.
Well,
too.
I've never heard this point. I guess that we Russians just don't notice this. It just works.
It's a part
how
of
it's
your
supposed
lives
to work.
already, yeah. It's the same in the academia. Everyone is busy. Everyone is working. If you're not working, it looks as if something is wrong with you. Yeah. So it's already, it's in your reflex. You don't even know you're working. The culture, work culture is great.
Yeah.
Compared
and what
to the
about
Africans.
your students?
Well,
Are they hardworking? I also studied at the university and at school. We cheat a lot.
I
In
know.
the middle school, high school,
I know.
university, if we have some exam, we always we name it shpargalka. It's like a small note which we put under the table, write something on our hand. We can write something under our skirt like this.
this is
all the
normal.
time.
This is normal.
Have you
It's
noticed
everywhere.
that students do this?
Of course. I mean,
Did you
this.
punish them?
No, this also happens everywhere in the world.
Not in
It's
the
not new.
US. Not in the
Oh,
US.
well,
I
maybe
studied
not.
in the US as well, and no one ever cheated. It was so hard for me not to cheat because I
Wow.
have this habit.
It's already.
I have a test, I need to make shpargalka, the notes.
Yeah, concerning this aspect of our lives, I believe this is something that has to be fought against. it's not right. Whatever is not right, it's not right. Okay, so I do not agree with this.
Do students cheat in Africa as well?
Of course they do. Of course they do. I mean, even more advanced, maybe.
Oh, more advanced
Yeah,
level.
yeah. I mean, that's why I said this is a wildly spread culture, which is not good. And this is because the younger generation has life easier for her than the older generation had. We have internet. We have everything at our fingertips. Our fathers go to the library to get information. Now we have information and then we still have to cheat. It's just becoming a culture, a more lazy culture. I mean, or lazier one for the younger generation, which I think needs to be fought against. It's in our minds. You are in the US and you have to study.
Yes,
But when you get to Russia,
exactly.
you know, excuse me, let's go. Yeah, that's because it's in the mind.
Yes,
I
my
think this
friend from
mindset
the
has to
US,
change.
he told me, you cannot cheat. And I told him, why? It's just some stupid test and I will never need this information in my life, so I
Later
will
on.
just cheat. And he told me, okay, so if you can cheat in order to achieve your goal, then in your life you will avoid taxes, you will kill people, you will do something out of law to achieve your goals. I told him, no, it's a stupid test, but we had this argument,
That's
you
the
know.
truth. He was right. These
I know.
these things form the basis for our thinking in life eventually.
Yes, we have this mindset that we can avoid some
You can
laws,
find your way out.
we can
You know,
find
you
this
can
way.
jump there, or you can
Yeah,
you know,
I guess
jump the
everything starts
traffic.
from
You
this,
can
from
it
school.
starts from there. But when we have this mentality that things have to be done right, we'll achieve right results too. So the coming generation will be worse than the previous one in morals, in the way we relate to laws and order, because we permitted them from the basics, which is the educational institutions.
Now about your experience of living in Russia as a black person. So determining the most and the least racist countries isn't something that can be measured exactly like
Yeah.
population, but there are some surveys. For example, a survey where a person is shown different pictures of people of different nationalities and races, and he has to choose the neighbor which he would like to have. Yeah, and these surveys can determine how racist particular countries are. So
The statistics differ from website to a website. The World Population Review website placed
placed Russia on the 22nd place
as one of the most
racist countries in the world. Would you agree that Russia should be placed high at this ranking or not?
Well, I don't want to.
22nd place is quite high among all the
Well,
countries.
22nd, I should even say is quite low.
Oh, really?
I would explain. When we came to Russia in the year 2007, it was worse.
Really?
I think Russia then should be placed in 5 or 4.
Wow.
It was terrible.
You think the situation
Now
changed?
it is far better. I think Russia should not even be on the 20 something. It should be on 50 something if it should make the list at all.
Tell me about
Especially
that
in
time
Moscow.
in
Those
2011.
times were terrible. Those times, even at school, I mean at the university, they tell you, please don't walk outside alone.
Really?
Go in pairs or 3 or 5, because the streets were very terrible. I heard from a senior colleague recently who now lives in the US that it was even worse in the 90s after the break of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Of course, then basically there was nothing, and there was banditry everywhere. There was hooliganism everywhere. Things were really bad.
And I think in the 19th, the Rudan University was the first who started to invite the African students.
Rudan
Yeah.
University started to do this from the initials, from the 60s. But then the concentration was higher already in the 90s. And so we had many of our colleagues who suffered racist actions, who suffered from racist actions. We had even one of I was president. I was
Could you
president
tell about this?
Yeah, I wanted to give an instance. I was president of African students in the year 2011, stroke 2012. And the guy who was my vice president was from Gabon. He went out to the shop to get some things and he was starved. 3 times. He was brutally stabbed. And only
Oh my
thanks to
God.
God that he didn't die. We had several people who died.
Actually, I read these articles on the internet about
They are
African,
real.
Vietnamese, Chinese
Chinese.
students.
Those days, the heart of racism was just too high. And this
Have you
also
also
is in the
encountered?
stereotypes. There was a day I went out. I was going to church on Sunday, very early in the morning, and I was alone because my colleagues had left earlier, so I had to go alone. It was terrible. Guys were returning from the stadium after a match, and these were young boys of the ages 16, 17. I was 20 already, or
Yeah.
21, and I was sitting alone, and they came right at me. I'm just grateful to God that they didn't beat me up because they were speaking and I kept mute. And
They were screaming, or
screaming,
Did you
yelling
un-
at me. They even wanted to raise their hands, and
did you understand what they said?
they were speaking Russian. Then I was already okay. It was winter 2008. I remember very clearly, and I already could understand Russian at least to a major extent. I didn't reply. I didn't say anything. I just kept mute. It was in the metro. Now the worst part of this all is that when such things happen, Russians don't even say anything. Everyone just keeps mute and watches the movie. It's like an act. Yeah, it's like drama. But such doesn't happen already today. And you know, it's reduced with time. How did it reduce? The policy of the Russian Federation changed. The president started to make the country habitable for foreigners. More foreigners came in from the former Soviet Union countries. There was an inflow, a large inflow of guys from Uzbekistan, from Tajikistan, from Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah.
And so now, when you, as a Russian, or if you're 10 Russians in a train, for example, there are like 50 other foreigners right there. And so if you
Exactly.
stand up
In
against
Moscow,
someone
it's
and
like
says,
this.
I'm going to beat him, and the other foreigner says, "Tipo pробуй, давай."
It's good that the situation has changed because,
Not only
as you
changed,
described,
it has
it's
gotten
awful.
great. Today you say to young foreigners, don't go out alone. And they're like, excuse me, why? It may be dangerous. Dangerous where? Can't you see the cameras everywhere? I'm like, okay. Because you didn't experience it. Now it is so safe, especially in Moscow. No one touches you. You can make claims and reports to the police and they will stand up to who is that? And everyone gets arrested for his crimes. It's far better. Right now the Russians they've learned to live and habitate or to live with all the foreigners from different parts.
Yeah,
of
the
world.
thing is that Russians don't see the blacks that often. Okay,
Yes,
in
we're not as
Moscow
much.
they do, but I myself come from a city Perm, even near Perm, a very small town in the Ural Mountains. So before I turned 17, I've never seen a black person in my whole life. The first time was when I came here to study at the university in Moscow. So yeah, Russians are just not used to see the black people.
Yeah.
And some people might be seeing the black person for the
For the
first
first
time
time.
in their life. And it's not even only about the skin color. Like, the face is also very unique. It's different. So people might just stop looking and be very curious.
Yeah.
Have you
But
noticed
of course,
this from some
for
people?
those who, like you said, those who do not stay in Moscow. Like in Moscow already we got used to it. But then outside Moscow till today, we stay in the region now. And in the regions, people still stare at me and my family when we walk around. Right? And sometimes my wife says, "Why are they looking?" I say, "Oh, you should be very happy. They're very glad to see foreigners around." Okay, I wish,
You can feel like a star, everyone is
the
looking
problem
at
is
you.
that the facial expression of the natural Russian does not tell exactly what happens in his heart.
Yeah.
So until you get to understand this also, like in cases where you enter into the metro and everyone's like this. I was still saying this yesterday to one of my friends, it feels like, oh, have I done anything wrong? Why are they not smiling? Why is everyone serious?
In the metro, no one smiles.
For them, it's
Just
just usual,
because-
you just get to understand that that's them. They're not angry at you. And
Exactly.
just bring in a little kid, a child. It doesn't matter where the child is from.
Yeah.
And the expressions over everyone's faces just changes in 1 second. There is this magnet for children that you can't just, and everyone just goes, Oh. And you're like, but I was here all the while and you didn't do all the and how come, that the Russians are just
Yeah, you must be a
that's
little
it.
baby in order to get this kind of attention and
And you need to
smiles.
understand them. You need to know that they're not wicked. They don't hate you. Everyone's just into himself
And you've traveled in Russia, right?
wildly.
What places have you visited?
Well, I've been to Saratov. I've been to Nizhny Novgorod. I've been to Ulan-Ude, that's Buryat.
Wow.
I've been to Yaroslavl. I've been to St. Petersburg. I've been to Kursk. I've been to Voronezh. I've been to Ulyanovsk.
That's a lot of places.
Yeah,
and
I've traveled around.
how would you compare your experience of traveling like as a black person and being in Moscow versus in Ulan-Ude or other regions? How would people react there?
Yeah, one thing is different with me. I don't know how all the foreigners experience this. I went always as a singer. So the relationship with us was pretty always different. We were welcome. We're stars. I went with the Rudan University. I have always been welcome everywhere in Russia.
Have you ever encountered some discrimination from your colleagues or anywhere? I have a friend from South Africa. He went to Voronezh. I don't know why there are no tourist attractions, but he wanted to go to the restaurant in that city, and the guard told him that he is not welcomed at the restaurant for no reason. Other people entered, and he thought that it was because he was black.
Yes.
But I don't know if it was like that or no.
Is that
Have you
recent?
ever had such
very
situations?
Recent? Is this recent? I mean, in recent times?
Maybe 4 years ago.
Okay. In recent times, I think this changed after the 2018 World Cup, because that was another boom in Russia.
Exactly.
Everyone, starting from the guys in the shop to the people in the metro station, spoke English language. For the first time, I felt like I was in a different country, because someone who naturally would not smile to you started to smile from the cashier at the metro and speak Russian. I mean English. It's like something happened, and the people from, I don't know, maybe we exchanged countries. It was like London came down.
Yes, it was so different
Moscow.
here during the World Cup, and not in Moscow only, but
All
in
over
all
Russian
the cities
Federation. Yeah, where the
the
football
football
plays.
was, and that cities also changed a lot.
And it changed also the mindset of the Russian people, because now they've come to understand that, I guess, these people are guests and they've just come to us and they will be going back again. Let's show them that we're nice. And so everyone changed the manner of approach. Several people will ask me, can I help you in English? And that felt like, as though something just turned around.
So you were saying you never experienced the discrimination.
If this was recent, then there may be a problem somewhere. Previously, there was. Even in the Rudan University, it was as bad as that. There was a restaurant while I was president of Africa.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
the international university.
You can just imagine. There was a restaurant. And that's not to discriminate, but then that's my university, that's my home.
Yeah.
But then I need to say this. There was a restaurant in the year 2012 while I was president. And a report came to me that there was this particular cafe, like we call them, who wasn't opening its doors to foreigners, to Africans. And, at first I felt maybe those guys were the naughty ones. Sometimes Africans can be very naughty. And so I said, okay, I'll look into it. And then my own classmate said the same thing. Mr. President, can you imagine that your country mates are not allowed into one particular restaurant? In Rudan.
Wow.
I was like, no, that can't be. And I took it up.
Did you go there?
Of course. I was the president, of course. I reported to the school authority. I took the case up. I said it to the police. In fact, some private investigators came to find out why.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did it finish? Were you able to enter that restaurant?
Yes, of course. I did. Because in Rudan, we have a special pass as presidency showed, and we can go everywhere. So intentionally, I went there and I was told, well, some Africans came to the same restaurant and got really drunk, and they caused a fight, and that was the reason why they stopped Africans entering. I said, but all the same, not only Africans. You can't stereotype us. There are other guys also who do the same thing. And you don't close it out to all of their nations or all their peasants.
There is this stereotype that Africans are they can fight or stuff like that. There was this stereotype, I would say. And also, I also studied at the Rudan University. some people didn't want their neighbors as Africans
Yeah.
at the dorm
Yeah.
because they thought that they would be dirty.
Yeah.
It's such a stereotype because I lived with a guy from Côte d'Ivoire.
Mm-hmm.
He was the cleanest person in our dorm. Like, even us, the girls, the Russian girls, we weren't as clean as him.
You
He
are.
was like cleaning everything.
Yes.
It's just a stereotype.
It's the same with me when I get to a place I really don't want to leave it dirty. When I enter, even into a public toilet, I don't want to get out of it dirty. I feel everyone has the right to cleanliness. So this still returns back to our upbringing. We are all humans. It's not about a country
Exactly.
or a nation or a continent.
Everything is so individual.
Everything is individual.
Yeah.
Everything, the way we think, the way we act, everything.
Were you ever insulted with the N word or something? By the way, do you know that in Russian we have a word "негр," which is not insulting? If we take the Russian dictionary and look for this word,
What
it means
negro?
a man
Yeah.
with black skin. And we
Yeah.
have the word "негритянка," which means a woman
Female.
with a black skin. But the thing is that the word "негр," which is not insulting in Russian, is similar to the insulting
It's the same thing.
word in the English word. And I think many Russians don't know that this word, they
Could be
shouldn't use it
insulting.
because the foreigners would think that it's an insulting word because
Yes.
it's too similar to the bad N word in
Yes.
English.
Yes. No, you know, all of this actually came from the days of the colonial masters, with the way that the white people have stereotyped the black people. Because the word negro, like you said, has its meaning to be its meaning. I am who I am and I can't change my person. I wasn't born to a white family because my parents were black. And that's who I am. It doesn't change anything. So the way the word is being used also in the initials is what has passed on to this current generation. But the poor Russians who don't know history of how these things came about just use it the way that they heard their parents use it or the way they feel it should be used. And naturally, a black American, for example, will not take any white person calling them negros because that's insulting.
Yes.
But that is who he is. He is a negro. But because it's being stereotyped, again stereotypes, because it's being used wrongly,
Yeah, but in the US, this word is insulting.
it is totally insulting.
And in English, it's normal to say the black.
Do you know that this word is not insulting if you are black and you say it to me? If you, I have a friend from, in fact, guys from Guinea-Bissau call themselves niggers.
Oh, really?
All of them. Even the black Americans call themselves, oh, sup nigger. So it's a normal thing, you know, to say, yo, oh, you're a nigger. But if it's coming from you who is not a nigger, so a nigger, then that's insult. That's also, you know, in the mind.
Okay, so when you were traveling in Russia, have you stayed with Russians at the house of your Russian friends, for example? What would you say about the Russian hospitality versus hospitality in Africa?
Alright, I have a Russian brother. His
A
name
brother?
Yeah, his name is Vasily. Okay, anyone who has gotten above the stage of friendship is your brother. And in fact, I was in his house 2 days ago in Moscow, and I stayed there for 2 nights. Just recently, in Moscow,
Yeah.
where he lives alone. So severally, I visit his home. He's from Kaluga. I visit Kaluga frequently to visit our parents, like his parents. And
When you're a guest, Russians, I guess, would make too much
you
food.
can say that again.
Yeah?
Because it is just terrible to the positive side. I minimum must have like an extra 5 to 6 to 10 kg when I visit Kaluga because I don't get to leave the kitchen. That's
Yeah,
where I
because
am.
they would tell you, ешь это,
Ну,
кушай, кушай.
Ну, в общежитии это не достанется тебе. Ну ты кушай давай. Ну что ты? Ну Джоша, что ты ешь? You
And
don't
then they would
finish.
be offended if you say, I'm
No,
full.
you
They would
can't
say,
be
eat.
full. So, you know, when we go to Russia, to Kaluga, I and my friends don't have enough time to talk together because I'm always with his mom in the kitchen. She asks everything that happened to us in school. Okay, so Vasily was living in the same building as I was in Rudan. So that's where we met, in the singing group in Rodan. And so when we visit home, it was just like a time to go meet my mother, because I really don't even have time for him. But she's with me. And after breakfast, we're just talking and talking and talking, and it's already time in the mid, it's not lunch, but it's just in the middle, really cool.
So that you're not hungry before the lunch, you have this.
And then while you're still eating that, it's already time for lunch.
Yeah.
Now I have to make lunch. And then she makes lunch. And then while you're still eating lunch, she says, oh, we need to also have something to eat in between lunch and supper. And just you have to eat. And there is soup, there is
the first dish, second dish.
Mama. Oh, mama.
Yeah, this always happens when you're a guest in the house of your Russian friend.
You will keep eating and never stop eating. It's great hospitality. And again, when foreigners do not go through this school of the Russian culture, you still just understand the Russian people on the surface. There is more to them. You need to know them more. You need to go closer. You need to eat them. You need to roll with them. And then you'll understand when they show some actions that it's actually not who they are. They are not.
Yeah, that's how you learn the culture.
That's how you know who they are.
What other cultural shocks did you have when you traveled in Russia?
Well, several cultural shocks. In my home place, we don't relate to our parents as with the they and the we.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
They
in English
is you
is you
for
and
informal situations, and we is you for formal situations. If you talk to your professor or anyone who is older than you.
For us, everyone who is older than you is a formal person. So you can't use a they for your father.
Oh.
Yes. For me, that was the first shock.
Oh, really?
I could not process, my brain could not process it. That you can call your father like a pa. Hey pa, what's up?
Several centuries ago, in Russia, kids would also say вы, which is a formal you to their parents. You can read it in Tolstoy's books, etc. But now, to our parents, we say you, like the informal one.
Parents,
Yeah.
uncles,
I cannot
aunties.
imagine say вы to my parents.
Oh, there was this change when I had to work in Nigeria with a Russian company. When I finished my master's in 2013, I traveled to Nigeria, and while we were on the plane, my boss said to me, Joshua, from this time you will not use a V for me. And I said, no, that's not possible. You're almost as old as my father. And he says, if you will not use the D, it means that you don't want to be like my brother. I said,
Yes, exactly.
Oh no, you don't want to do that to me.
If you become closer with someone and become friends, you start to say ты.
In the African context, you cannot do that.
For me, it was weird in the opposite way when I studied in the US and I just called everyone you, my group mates, my professors, anyone. For me, it was also weird.
Yeah.
And how did you imagine Russia before coming here? What did you know about Russia before you arrived here?
Like I said,
What did you expect?
Well, I expected the winter. Aside winter, there was nothing else I expected. I believed everyone was just like they were supposed to be. Like I lived in the city. I lived in Lagos. In Lagos, we have a population of over 20 million people. And then we had foreigners too, although we're not that close to them. The Africans treat foreigners like little gods. Yes, so when you treat God, you give him some space, some reference, and it was the same way. So we really didn't know, we were not so close. So I was expecting that everyone would just be the same. The winter would just be the difference, and maybe nothing special. The clothing we saw on the internet, that everyone put on clothes just like we put on clothes. So there was nothing, maybe the winter clothes. I wasn't really expecting anything special. We saw movies, American movies.
Where Russians are always bad guys?
So of course we expected that maybe 1 or 2 times you'll have seen some mafias on the street, guys with the long suit and.
So before coming here, you expected winter, mafias, bad guys.
Yeah, just like the Hollywood would tell us it is. We rarely saw them, and now as a public relations specialist, made in Russia. I think that it is high time that the Russian movie industry will also step up its game and tell the whole world who we really are. Now, as a lecturer, I say to my students, I want you to be the ones writing your own stories in English. Be the authors. Be English authors of them. So that people may read from you. They have read first, second, third hand information about Russians. Nobody knows what Russia is. When people came for the World Cup, everyone was startled at what Russia actually is. Because the information we have outside is jargons, nonsense. So Russia is, that's why I really appreciate what you're doing, Alina, you're doing a great job. You need to inform everyone of who we are. Tell them that we are not bad. Tell them who exactly we are.
That's why I actually love to make this kind of videos, to break these stereotypes that are from the media, from the movies, which is not related to the real life at all.
I can't imagine how you guys feel when you travel outside Russia, with the way you make the stereotype. My friend, my brother Vasily told me that, you know, when you appear outside and you say you're Russian and everyone's like, really? You must be some, you know, some...
From KGB.
Yeah, from KGB. Straight. Everyone is KGB. But it's not that way. Life is here also.
Yeah, you should never rely only on information from Instagram posts, from some random comment on YouTube. You should go out there and explore yourself. If you read some comment that Russia is such a racist country from a guy who found himself at the wrong place, at the wrong time, you will think that the whole country is like this.
Yes.
Or some other guy who writes that there is no racism at Russia at all, which won't be true as well. So every experience is so individual, and the only way is to check yourself, go out there, not to believe these stereotypes. And for the end, Joshua, I have a small quiz for you to see how well you know Russia, what are your preferences here. So you will have to choose between two options of what I say. So choose Moscow or St. Petersburg.
I'll choose St. Petersburg because I've lived in Moscow all my life.
Have you been to St. Petersburg?
I have.
Why would you choose that city?
Well, I think it's more ancient, and the architecture is superb. It's mind-blowing. It's something out of this earth. I wonder how it's been kept for ages, and it still keeps its beauty. It's great.
I think there are two groups of people who love Moscow and who love St. Petersburg. I love Moscow because I think St. Petersburg is too slow.
Oh yeah, you see? I love Moscow because I am Moscowite. Okay, I've lived here all my life. But then St. Petersburg is something, you know, magical.
Yeah, it's a magical city.
It's like something from the books. It's like you will read in the book while you go through it. So Moscow is Moscow. Moscow is, yeah.
Борщ or окрошка?
Borscht.
Borscht is a soup made of beets, and a okroshka is like a summer soup which is cold, and it's like a salad in the milk, in the fermented milk.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I have learned to like everything, especially when I visit my Russian family. I eat everything, I don't even have a choice.
I think okroshka is such a strange dish for foreigners because it's a salad, but it's like a soup. Sometimes in the fermented milk, sometimes in kvass, which is a rye bread beverage.
It's also yummy, you know.
Yeah. Next one, гречка or plov?
Well, definitely it's plov. Why? Because plov is also closer to my tradition. We have several types of rice.
Yeah,
white,
plov is rice with
fried
meat.
Yes, the plov
And
is
grechka is a porridge.
Grechka is yummy too.
Yeah.
Really
So you choose both.
Well, of course.
Now a good one, Coca-Cola or kvass?
Yeah. You want me to denounce? Yeah, I understand. Kvass is great. Kvass is malt. It's beautiful, of course. Coca-Cola is Coca-Cola, of course. It's sugar. It's you know, the propaganda also today against Coca-Cola. We grew up with Coca-Cola. I grew.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From the very childhood, I was told that if I drink Coca-Cola, I will have holes in my teeth. So I never drank it
Wow.
because I have this thought that my teeth will be with
Again, stereotypes, you know.
My parents made me think this and believe this, so I can't drink it.
We saw Coca-Cola on Hollywood as the, you know, the magic of the moment. So we always yearned for Coca-Cola. And so when you have it, you're like, oh, always Coca-Cola, you know. But then when we got to Russia, we found that there's something close to malt. Malt is on a higher scale of preference than Coca-Cola, and it's more expensive in Africa. So we prefer to have what we can get. Well, kvass is great.
For me, it's kvass, especially so hot now. I would have kvass now. Choose winter in Nigeria or winter in Russia.
Don't talk about winter in Nigeria. Nigerians can't survive winter. Oh no, not winter in Nigeria for no reason.
No?
No.
Why?
It's impossible.
Too hot or?
No, Nigeria is great, you know, with the weather. If it could just be big, it's cold. But then not winter. Nigerians can't survive winter.
But you probably don't have winters in Nigeria.
I've never seen a winter situation, winter before. It's not happened. I don't think.
No, I mean, where would you choose to spend winter? In Nigeria or in Russia?
I would always prefer winter to be here in Russia.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Of course. So that we can have, you know, a place, a hiding place, you know, when it's cold here, you can run to Nigeria. No, not only because of that, but we don't have the infrastructure for winter. We don't have the winter, the heaters all around. We don't have warm clothes. I never put on warm clothes, never. And I can't just, my brain.
So when you came here, you wore the warm clothes for the first time, and Ushanka.
Yeah, for the very first time. Yeah, and when you go home and you put on those things, you know, people may think you're already going not normal, you know, maybe psychiatric problems. Yeah, so, but in Russia, it's great. Let it be winter in Russia, not winter.
Okay, I didn't expect this answer.
No.
Okay, I have something special for you because you came.
Thank you.
It's pryanik. You probably know it from Tula. I also had the video about these pryaniks. It's a Russian gingerbread, and I have a life hack for you. You can heat it in the microwave, and it won't become hard. It will become softer, and also the jam inside will be hot, and it's so good.
Wow.
So
beautiful.
When you come, put it in the microwave and then eat it. It's really good. Joshua, you mentioned that you are a singer and that you traveled to many cities of Russia and had concerts. So
Yeah.
One of your songs in Russian.
Well, I think one of the most favorite Russian songs, Ой, мороз, мороz.
Especially with this weather.
Yeah, we need some moroz, right?
Давай.
Ой, мороз, мороз, нет мороз меня, нет мороз меня, моего коня. I think that's okay, right? Тандра меня горит очаг, как вечный знак забытых истин. Мне далеко последний шаг, и этот шаг длиннее жизни.
Wow, this is so cool.
Definitely, you know, not
Without
пройдет.
any accent. Without any accent.
Not пройдет нас
Ясное, знаю, счастье нас с тобой ждет.
Ночь пройдет, пройдет, пора ненастная, солнце взойдет. Солнце взойдет.
I didn't imagine this. Wow,
Yeah,
this
you
is
can.
so cool.
That's what I've done all my life.